Right, so these ones now are just a little bit harder, right? So we're looking at more difficult problems. Again, sticking with the angle between two lines. So when you look at this one, find the equation of the two lines through the point 2, 3, if they make angles of 45 degrees with the line x minus 2y equals 1. Now to look at that, it would throw you off, right? But if you think about it and try to draw a diagram, it might help. So you're looking for the equation of two lines through the point 2, 3. So look at my point 2, 3 here, and I have two lines going through it. I have line number 1 and I have line number 2, L1 and L2. That's the first thing. Now each one of these lines end which they make an angle of 45 degrees with the line x minus 2y equals 1. So each one of these lines, L1 makes an angle of 45 degrees and L2 makes an angle of 45 degrees with this line here, okay? So what I'm going to use now is, I'm going to use my formula and I'm going to try and come up with an equation. We know in a way that any line that contains the point 2, 3 is going to be like y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1, isn't it? Right? I don't know the slope, but I do know a point. So let's just say the slope is m1. All right. My point is 2, 3. So my point is 2, 3. So my equation is y minus 3 m into x minus 2. Right? And you'd work on with that. But at least I know the slope of one of the lines. So m1 is the first slope. Okay. Now I will be able to find another slope, right? Because I know the slope of this line. The slope of this line is minus the x over the y. So it's minus 1 over minus 2, which is a half. So we'll say m2 is the second slope, and that is a half. Okay? I know my angle is 45 degrees. So if I used my angle between two lines formula, because you can see you have two lines and the angle between them. So tan of theta is plus or minus m1 minus m2, 1 plus m1 m2, using my formula. So look at my thing. I know three pieces, or I need three pieces of information. The angle, the first slope and the second slope. So I know what my angle is, it's 45 degrees. I don't know the first slope m1, but I do know the second slope is a half. So now I would have tan of 45 degrees plus or minus m1 I don't know, but I do know m2 is a half, 1 plus m1 by m2. So what I'm doing again now, you're taking it a step further, you're working backwards, but it's actually coming up with this might be the problem. So tan of 45 degrees is 1 from your calculators, plus or minus m1 minus a half over 1 plus a half m1. What will I do now? Cross. So cross multiply. 1 by 1 plus a half m1 is equal to plus or minus m1 minus a half. Okay? Not sure if you can see that. So now I have to take two possible scenarios for my answer. m1 is equal to plus the second one. So 1 plus a half m1 is equal to plus m1 minus a half. The other one is if 1 plus a half m1, the left hand side, is equal to minus this. And don't forget, whatever follows a minus, you put it in a bracket. m1 minus a half. All right, we'll solve. 1 plus a half m1 is m1 minus a half. Bring all the m's together, bring all the numbers together. 1, bring over minus a half and it's plus, is equal to m1, bring over a half and it's minus a half m1. Now 1 plus a half is 1.5. 1 m1 minus a half m1 is a half m1. So now I would have 1.5 divided by a half gives me m1. So what's 1.5 divided by a half? 3. So m1 is 3. So the slope of one of these lines up here, L1 and L2, is 3. Now we'll get the slope of the second one. So what do I have? 1 plus a half m1 is equal to minus m1 plus a half. So bring all my m's together, bring all my numbers. 1 minus a half is minus m1 minus a half m1. 1 minus a half is a half, minus 1 minus a half is minus 1 and a half m1. So what is a half, minus a half is 1 and a half m1 when I change all the signs. So minus a half divided by 1 and a half is m1. So what is minus a half divided by 1 and a half? And my answer is minus a third. So the second option would be minus a third. Okay, so you have two values found for the slopes now. So that's the slope of the first line. That might be the slope of the other line, right? I know that each one of them went through the point 2, 3. Each one of them. So they're the slopes. Now I'm asked though to find the equation of each line. So y minus 3 is 3 into x minus 2. So y minus 3 is 3x minus 6. 3x minus y minus 3 is 0 is the equation of the first line. The next one is y minus y1 is equal to minus a third this time for the slope, x minus 2. So 3 by y minus 3 is minus 1 by x minus 2. I'm going through that fast. And it's equal to minus x plus 2. X plus 3y minus 11 is 0 is the second line. So now I found the slope of each line and I found the equation of each line as I was asked in the question. All right, go back over that again. Bear in mind, you need two pieces of information. Once you know two pieces, you can use your formula. And this time I knew only one slope and the angle. All along I've known the two slopes and I found the angle. So I was only working backwards. But again, watch your pluses and your minuses because it's very easy to make a mistake there. Use your calculators. All right. So a couple of questions on them. Page 167, questions 7, 8, 9, 12. All right. Okay. Thank you.